So first thing, this recipe calls for 16 ounces of peanut butter. If you go the Dollar Tree route, you will need 2 of them because they are usually 10-ounce containers. Then you need vanilla extract, 8 ounces of sour cream, and 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, as well as powdered sugar. So I have my chocolate cake here, and I have my cutting tool. So I'm going to cut this in half. This is my favorite tool on the planet, guys. So I'm cutting this in half. The recipe usually calls for 1 cake. I would prefer 2. I would prefer 2 round cakes and level them off and do it. You can use any chocolate cake you want, any recipe, or you can just go the boxed route. And I'm just going to move that over onto the plate. So you'll see, I cut it all the way through in half. This recipe also calls for Reese's peanut butter cups, the big ones or the mini ones, and you need to freeze them ahead of time to make for easier chopping. I just so happen to have this peanut butter bunny, this Russell Stover. So I'm going to try this. It's been in the freezer. So now I'm just going to add my 16 ounces of peanut butter. So that would be one of these 10-ounce jars and then a little more than half of the second one. And then next, 8 ounces of sour cream. If you're using this Dollar Tree one, it's half of this one. This does not need to be exact. Nothing in this recipe needs to be exact. Then 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then we start mixing. This must be done with some type of mixer, whether it be a stand mixer or a hand mixer, but a whisk will not do for this. So that's where we're at. Now, the original recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. I have never in my life used a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar in this recipe. I don't know exactly how much I use, but I start off, I blend, and then I always keep tasting for sweetness. And that definitely needs more. This is a very, very rich and decadent frosting because of all the peanut butter, so I feel like it needs to be kind of sweet. Again, the beauty of this is that it's really, nothing is too exact. As long as you get the basic idea. So again, keep tasting for sweetness. If I had to guess how much I use, I would say at least a cup, which is 4 times what the original recipe called for. That's just ludicrous to me. But again, just keep adding slowly. You can always add, but you can't take away. Keep adding slowly, see how you like it. I still feel like I need more, so I added a little more. And this is where we're at. We're coming towards the end now. This should do it. Okay, now we're done mixing. The sweetness is to where I think it should be. We're scraping the sides down. Okay, all done. That's the frosting and the filling, and we're just going to set that aside. And the next step, you're going to take your frozen chocolate, whatever you chose to use, peanut butter cups, or if you happen to have a peanut butter bunny laying around, you're just going to chop this up. This will go on top. If you want to get really fancy, you can put it in the middle layer as well. But this cake is so rich, guys. I'm not even kidding. It's so rich that, in my personal opinion, I feel like the top is just enough. This is like a serious, serious cake. So you don't want them too small, but you don't want them too big either, because it will be on top of the cake and in a forkful. So now we set this aside. Small kitchen problems. Okay, now here is my cake. I'm going to take the top layer off. You're going to use half of that mixture we just prepared to fill the cake. Now, if you've watched me make other cakes, that's my favorite tool right there, guys. Angled mini cake spatula. If you've watched me make other cakes, you make a dam for any filling so that it doesn't run out into the outside. However, the beauty of this is because the filling and the outside frosting are the same, you can skip that dam step and it doesn't have to be perfect. So you just want to get it in there. Then you put on your top layer. And the way I frost any cake is to go ahead and gather it all up and dump it right on top. And then I'm going to use my angled icing spatula to smooth this all out. And you want to cover the sides as well. See, I would have preferred a thicker cake. I haven't made this cake since I've been in law school. I used to make it for my stepfather like every year, but I don't think I've made it for him in the past 4 years because I've been way too busy. And I always took summer classes too. But I think that the 2 cakes is probably the route I went. So again, just my opinion. Again, such a rich cake, such a decadent cake. I think you actually need the cake to break that up a little bit. So more actual cake, the better for this one, in my opinion. So we'll just finish smoothing this out, going all around, trying to make sure none of the cake shows through. That's the only thing you're looking for here. This is kind of a rustic cake, so it does not have to be pretty. It does not have to be perfect. And I see a spot. Thank you, camera, because I was able to see it from the back. All right. Now I'm grabbing the topping, and we're just going to go ahead and put this. I like to put it around the outside. You can put it all throughout if you'd like. This is just my preference. You could skip this altogether if you wanted. Remember, all my recipes are always for inspiration only. So I'm just going around the perimeter of the cake with these chunks. And I'm actually going to take the little pieces that are left on my handy dandy foldable cutting board and just drop that in the center. I think that looks pretty. That's it, guys. Hope you liked it, and make sure to give it a try. You'll love it.